believe that us coming together can alleviate that. Of course, it would never probably stop it, but alleviate the issue there. But it all takes us coming together as a community and unity and working together. Just trying to even work in our school systems. It's not up to just the teachers, it's up to all of us. Everyone has a play in this.
And you said something very important, Angie. I think that somewhere along the line we lost the sense of the village. Everyone looking out for one another. It wasn't just about your kids. You looked out for the neighbors' kids, the kids that lived up the street, the kids that lived around the corner. I know when I was growing up, anybody on my block could whip my behind and take me back to my parents, and then I was going to get in trouble again. And it wasn't, we cursing no elder out. We wasn't doing all of that craziness. Like, we wasn't doing all of that stuff. So you don't see that much no more. You don't see the older people outside watching the kids on the front porch and people knowing, oh, I'm not going to do that in front of Miss Davis' house because I know I'm going to get in trouble. Like, we don't have that anymore. So that's definitely something that we need to get back to. We need to get back to those type of things. Billy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just think it start one community at a time, and one positive person at a time. Because I mean, it's too big of a problem for for it all to be solved at one time. So you got to start at home and then one community at a time.
Yes.
So like people that is doing positive stuff or do have the ability, because everybody don't have the ability to give back or to have the time to invest into the problems in the community or abroad. And like, it's very difficult to try to survive and still solve a crisis. So the people who do have the time and money and stuff like that, they the people that we need to reach out to. Like, as communities, people that's into certain business or have certain jobs, they have certain connections. So like, it starts like community meetings and senators meetings. It start there, so like every community is responsible for the next. Because if you don't step up to, like, if you see the difference between the county's community and the city communities, the only difference because the people in the community care. And they go to the boards and they they write petitions and they ask for stuff, or they not just ride when crisis happen. You see what I'm saying? But they care about their whereabouts, where their kids are about. So if the people in the community don't care, and don't show that they care, no concern, who else gonna care? You can't point the finger now. So it starts individually and then community after community. So it's like the people who do have the power, that's the people we need to start reaching out to, because our voice is only limited. We know people. We worked in the state office. I know Janae. I know her for a long time, and she worked in the state office, and I know she have a lot of next. So, it's just sometimes we can't look at the problem. We gotta start looking at solutions, because we can talk the problem all day. And it never will change. Like, so it's like, all right, let's reach out to some people that maybe can help or can change, or maybe have a bigger voice than we have, or bigger position. Yeah. Because that's what it's about. Power. Power, position is who you know. Look who in the office, because who we know. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? Who we know? So sometimes we gotta, that's what I think. That's where my mind at with it. And I'm starting with myself. I can't help nobody. I can't solve a crisis until I solve my own, and then I can, give back. So that's my piece.
And you mentioned something about it starts at home. And when I was kind of thinking of things that I wanted to touch base on quickly, like I said, this is only an hour show, so we're just basically going to just be touching it a little bit. It's so much that we can get into. But you said a couple of quick things that I want to pick up on. And one is, a lot of people and a lot of leaders in Baltimore are growing weary because they're tired of coming. They're tired of going to the meetings. They're tired of talking about the issues. And you're right, like, we have to get past, we know what the issues are. Everybody can see it. We see it on the news every day, every night. We hear the gunshots, we hear the sirens. It's crazy. So we have to figure out what the game plan is going to be. So at some point, people have gotten to the point where they're just like, I don't want to go to any more community meetings. Why we keep on meeting and nobody's going outside? Why we keep on coming into this building and there's no men standing on the corner and doing things like that? And one thing that I found was that 30% of the kids living in Baltimore City have adverse childhood experience, what they call ACE, and the scores are 2 or more. So that basically means that they have experienced more than 2 incidents or events in their homes That includes domestic violence, living with someone who has a drug or alcohol addiction, death of a parent, or been a victim or witness of community violence. 30%, that's a big number. 30% is a big number. So a lot of these issues are starting at home. And that's the root of a lot of these issues, what's going on in these homes. There's a Baltimore City, a huge percentage lives below the federal poverty line. There are single mothers out here working 2 jobs. They're not home with their kids. Just looking at the news, it's so many kids that are being found, babies roaming the street in the middle of the night. This is real life. It seems like it's something you see on a movie somewhere or in a third world country, but this is real life happening in Baltimore City. You were saying something, Angie.
No, I was just going to say, definitely it starts at home. Just for being a PTA president, I see that. Just for being a PTA president over at Murrow, I see a lot of barriers. However, I think a lot of people, like I received a message today, someone just saying, you inspired me to do something I wanted to do. Absolutely. So a lot of times it's more, I mean, I can disguise the limit how many students came to me. Sometimes just a push, a motivation. I don't think it has to be someone big in office to do it. I'm just little old Angie. Mm-hmm. And yet Angie had pulled everyone together to do a public safety forum. It was not just another forum, another talk. We left with a planned action. And awesome. With that planned action, now we're trying to venture out to different schools to get someone in place at the schools. We're doing things where now we're getting ready to meet with Baltimore City Baltimore City Police Department Community Engagement Unit. Okay. So things are in place. So I guess just me as personal, I would feel like don't ever feel like you're powerless. Mm-hmm. You know, people are listening. Yes, you hit it. People are tired. People are listening. And another thing is just trying to get out in the community. We have something going on May 20th. We're trying to get the brothers in the Park Heights community. So things are a plan of action, and it does start one community at a time. But with so many people, I think we all can do that.
Absolutely. And what you're doing with the Restoring the Village project, I think, is something that is so needed. And it's so many groups, nonprofits, organizations all over Baltimore City. And I want people to understand this, that it is not about your nonprofit, it is not about your organization, it is not about your title, it's about who's going to get out here and do the work. And there is power in numbers. No one organization can take over Baltimore City by themselves. Like, you can't do it. You can't cover the whole city. You have to partner up and connect with other organizations that are doing the same thing. And it's so many organizations out here that pop up this year and go on the next year, because they haven't done anything. A lot of organizations, and I'm not going to call any organizations out, but they get money to do stuff, and we don't see nothing. Mm-hmm. It is too many organizations out here that these kids don't have somewhere to go after school every day. Absolutely. It's too many. And that just shows me that you're just existing. You can't just exist. You have to do the work. I've worked with nonprofits and organizations in Baltimore City since I moved here in 2010. And the things that I've seen from the outside and the inside, the things that I learned along the way, some of them are very disheartening, because a lot of the people don't have the heart to do this. And if you don't have the heart to do it, you're going to quit, because this work is not for the faint of heart. You have to be willing to get out there and put your feet to the pavement like Andy is doing, and not being afraid to pull an organization up or connect to another organization. And then you have to find people that's willing to say, okay, this isn't about my organization. This is about the collective project, and this is about the collaboration, and this is about the kids. So I don't necessarily need my name on the flyer, or, people get caught up in that stuff, and that's not the way that we're going to move forward. If it's I, and we're not focusing on the we. And Rob, I want you to talk a little bit about, because you're younger than us, and you're still connected to probably high school kids, and even when we were in ACE, Rob wasn't one of the kids. They was running wild, and he was the one telling everybody to chill out. And from his post, I can just tell that he's going to do great things in Baltimore City, and he's going to get these youth together the best that he can. So just from a perspective of just kind of still being out of high school and knowing that part of it, like what do you see are the needs of the young people? What are the things that they're needing right now?
First thing in my eyes is just 100% understanding. It's understanding one another, because once you start to understand one another and actually break down a lot of the things, such as even like clothes or even the way a person look or even the things that a person do have or doesn't have, is once you even start to break that down and really start to understand the person and not just judge a person. Because when you're young, you hook to that judge. You know, you just see someone, I want to judge. You don't really understand that person, and it's more or less trying to humble yourself enough to even understand that I probably don't have everything. I probably am not the best looking person in the world or anything else like that, but I'm going to carry myself as if I am, and I'm going to treat people the way that I want to be treated. I'm going to understand certain situations. Even when it comes down to just trying to talk to the youth, breaking it down just as small as that, and even understanding that I'm not going to touch everyone.
That's right.
I'm not. I'm one person. I can't. But the ones that I will touch, I will try my best with. I have a dude now from Ace. I took him under my wing. His name is Ern. He's the one that reposted the flyer.
Okay.
And
shout out to him.
yeah, and he was a dude that I met, and I met him through the shelter. We was living in the shelter together, and I kind of took him underneath my wing. I was working. I wasn't really making a lot. I was making probably like $100 a week. Like real bad, and I was still trying to take care of him and take care of me, but I did it, and we did it, and we did it together. And even just the connections that I built throughout that, and people just understanding me and my situation, I just think that people need to really start to understand one another and not just judge off top. Just really just start to break down those barriers of really just understanding the complications of what happens with a broken household, how that actually, what is the outcome of that, and really starting to understand that and how it works against a family, like an actual family that's there. And when you look at our youth period as going forward, the plan that I feel like we should set is trying to put our youth not in the mindset of working for anyone. Mm-hmm. But creating our own jobs, creating our own businesses within our community so that we can be actually a community. We can actually work hand in hand, because we are the ones that building what is going on in our city, not outside officials that are coming in trying to, set up the way that they want it to go and not actually live here, not actually see the people or actually know how the policies that they're putting in place are affecting us and our youth. So it's more or less understanding, and even sending the understanding to as far as the people that are creating these policies, that are cutting the budgets, and actually trying to break it down to them. I remember a minute ago, I forgot the guy's name, that's the Baltimore City school commissioner, I forgot his name, off top. I just remember him saying like he wasn't going to put money into a system that was not working. And when I heard that, I was like, the argument is so pretty. It's so pretty. But when you really think about it, the system is broke because of us, truthfully. If we was younger, when we were younger, if our parents or the people that was leading us told us, I know my mom told me all the time was to get a job. Get a job. She didn't tell me to create my own job, make my own business, actually connect with the people that are in my community. Once I got older and my mom actually seen that that's what I was doing on my own, she inspired me to do more. And my father inspired me to actually take, further steps within my career too. But it's just understanding one another and even breaking down that towards, just having basic conversation with even you and breaking down something that you don't understand within my life. And it's just understanding one another, and it will be a better day. I can promise you that one.
Call in 444-361-277. We want to hear your thoughts and comments. And again, like I said, Rob talks like he's about 40-something. And how, 23?
Yeah, just
he's 23 years old. And he just dropped some jewels for a 23-year-old. So that just tells you that he's very aware of what's going on. And he shared his story. He was in a homeless shelter, and off $100 a week that he was making, he made it his due diligence to help somebody else when he wasn't even in, sometimes he wait until we get in position, or oh, I can't help nobody if I only, I'm only making $400 a week. What I'm gonna do for somebody? But sometimes, and I learned this from working with youth. Anybody that knows me knows I have a special love for a group of boys in Park Heights that I straight pulled off the corner one day. Like, straight pulled the car over, got out and asked them, what y'all doing on this corner? And ever since then, like, I have been connected to them, and I have made a promise to them that whatever they need along the way, whether it's they're getting jobs now. I checked in with one of them 2 weeks ago. He said, I'm in school. I'm not even on the corner no more. And they didn't even they just wanted somewhere to come inside. One of them would come inside and just simply go to sleep. He just wanted somewhere where he could sleep in peace. In peace. There's so many younger, older kids that are raising their younger brothers and sisters and cousins, and sometimes they just want a break. It's a lot for them. Sometimes these kids out here hungry. Sometimes they want somebody to buy them a slice of pizza, take them to get something to eat. We try to scale things to such a bigger issue when there's so many small things that we can be doing. The people that own businesses in Baltimore City, take a youth under your wing and teach them a skill. Give them a job, whether it's coming to your barbershop and sweeping up the hair every night for $25. That $25 go a long way. You keeping them off the corner, off the street for 3 or 4 hours a day. Like, do something. Don't just have your business in the community. You taking money, but you're not putting anything back in. Like, y'all have to do something. Stop waiting for the mayor. Stop waiting for the governor. It's something you can do.
I did want to piggyback what you just said and what you also said. One of our partnerships that Restoring the Village, as you said, Restoring the Village is just more about connecting the pieces. It's, again, not trying to take away from anyone's organization, but bringing it together, the networking part of it. I hate to say networking because I feel like this is what we should be doing. So I don't want to call it network. I want to call it the village. I want to call it family. I call everybody brother, sister, like we're family. So one of our partners, Joni Heart Smiles, Heart Smiles reaches out to the youth. But not only youth, now she's used her business platform, and now she's helping adults. But I have to emphasize on the youth because she utilizes that platform to help the youth create their own business plan.
Yeah.
She takes them down to the Department of Maryland Department of Assessment and Taxation. They have businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
That she comes now into Mervo and holds a workshop free of charge. These young men and women are getting jobs. I mean, they're starting their own business. And this is what we're trying to get out to all schools. We're trying to get it to the entire community. It's free. And it's just a simple taking that class to learn about a business plan, how to do a business, and it was just her time. So again, it starts with just someone just caring, understanding.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say, there are things out there, and again, it goes back to that bridging that gap, that connection.
And the programs that are out here for free. Why we gotta beg people to come to stuff that's for free, that's going to benefit you for free?
Yes.
You're getting connected to resources. You got somebody that's going to take you down on Utah Street, Preston, down to the state building with you and hold your hand and fill out the paperwork for you for free. And we don't even take that's right. Tell them how you really feel, baby. For free. And we don't take advantage of those opportunities. We don't take advantage of those resources. Stop being lazy. Stop making your kids lazy. Make them go, register your kids and make them go. Drop them off. Make sure they go. It's programs out here. It's so many people. It's a lack of, but there are things out there that these kids could be doing. And the parents have to make sure that these kids are doing it. Don't stop giving your kids the option. We ain't have no option. We did not have no option. Even I know raising a child, she has way more freedom than I ever had. My parents said you was going to after school. You was going to after school. We was in Glee Club, after school. Any program that they had going on, our behinds was there. We wasn't in the streets. They didn't play that. We didn't have no option. We couldn't say, I don't want to go to, no, you had to go. You didn't have that option. And these kids out here, they just be roaming around. I work downtown. I see them down there almost every day, acting a fool, in the street, doing stuff they don't have no business doing. Parents, you have to be accountable for your children. You have to be accountable for your children. And Billy, I want you to kind of talk about the other side of what's going on, speaking on somebody who knows what it's like to be in the street and how you don't have to let that be your life. How he's a serial entrepreneur. He does everything. He has a sedan service, a moving service, a handyman service, already fitness. Like, he's a serial entrepreneur. Like, he does everything. So he is just basically an example of how you don't have to necessarily get caught up in that life, and how you can turn around, and how you don't have to depend on somebody to hire you. You can go out and create your own business and get your own hustle and make it a whole movement.
Right, because I understand this.
I put him on the spot.
Movement.
The movement become understanding though, Doc. So we go. I guess I see we all on the same page here. Like, I'm big on understanding. I speak on understanding. I listen for understanding. So one thing about my movement is understanding. Like, and to do give back to community. Like, I work with a lot of young brothers, older people. It don't matter. If you want to work, I'm gonna come get you. So that's like one thing I do to give back, and it do kind of help brothers step up street, because like one of the biggest crises for real for me is and what kept me on the street and kept me going back or doing the same thing was it was finance. So like it's very hard to survive or to go to school and still trying to survive or trying to worry about, you know, where my next meal gonna come from. Like, you can't focus in class if you worry about where your next meal gonna come from.
Yeah.
So like,
That's true.
so like that was my biggest issue with you know, my crisis of going in and out of the system. And once I found basically found myself and realized that, you know, I had more potential than what I thought I had.
That's right.
So I started to utilize some of the things I already, you know, knew how to do, like work with my hands.
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, I used to build like pigeon bird cages, or we used to call them pigeon coops back then. You know, so basically I just took time, I mean, some of the things, you know, still some of my mistakes and learned from, like, you know, hustling, but I took it and done it a different way. So basically taking the illegal hustle and turning it into something legal. So it's still a hustle. Like, whatever you do, it's going to be a hustle. So a lot of guys on the streets, that's all they doing. They surviving. You know, like a lot of guys on the street, they good guys. Like, I was one of them. But a lot of people don't realize, like, if you look at me, you wouldn't be able to tell that I've been.
It's understanding.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of us on the street, because it's not because we want to, it's just that this is all we know and think that we got to do to survive.
Right.
Because it's the quickest way. Like, it's easy to go and get something from somebody and make that money. But it's so difficult to go through the, you know, the steps of finding a job. I mean, for honestly, me just having like self-discipline and motivation is like, I know myself, so I know what I gotta do. Like, everybody you just gotta know yourself, know your limits. So like, if I know I got a background, I know I can't keep on going and trying to find a job the normal way. Of filling out an application, putting a resume in. That's not for me. That's okay for somebody else. You just gotta know your challenges. You see that a lot of guys get impatient with it because they don't realize that, look, you gotta go about it a different way. So like, for instance, I do a lot of networking. So that helped me get a lot of different jobs, and, you know, and actually from there I started to capitalize off it and use my hustling skills from the streets and do what? Work for myself. So just like if a guy was on the streets, he would want to work for himself instead of keep getting packs from somebody. Because why? You gonna make more money because a profit is better than a wage. You know, you're getting wages on the street too. So if you, I mean, it's all about, it's just how you look at it. If you take the good out of whatever, you can make the best out of it. You can come out of any situation, and that's basically how I came out of a lot of my situations. I took the best out of it when I was in the system. They don't have programs and colleges and stuff like that in the system no more. It's set up for you to come back. That's how the system is set up now. They have video games. You literally can play a video game, watch a movie, listen to earphones all day long, and eat and sleep. So if you don't take advantage of some of the little things that you have, or educate yourself or discipline yourself, then you're going to go right back. And you got to start like right there. Like, I started disciplining myself right there, taking classes, setting up my own classes, literally taking stuff from library. You see what I'm saying? So it starts with you and what you want. I wanted more than just keep going back and forth in and out of prison. And when those people get tired, you know, you want to do more. But, you know, like I said, it starts with you. And I can't help nobody else until I help myself. So some of the things that help me, like I said, take advantage of some of the things we already know. And just sometimes, you know, look for more than what in front of you, you know. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get ahead, but at the same time, have a plan, have a goal, want more than what's given. And that's what helped me, you know, push myself more.
Can I say one thing while that's on my mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Even with your business, even with your company, even with anything and everything that you do. It's putting a light on it. It's really showing that that's what's going on in our community. Because when we hear so much over the news, you know, just the people dying and people doing this, and you have 5 minutes of just them talking about, oh, well, this happened in the community, good. And then you have a whole entire 45 minutes of this person died here, this person died here, this is happening in a whole different state, and it's all bad. It's all bad. And if it is something good, it's not pertaining to us. It's not anything that's even going to affect any of us. So it's just more or less of putting spotlights on businesses that's already here. Those black-owned businesses, even if they're not black-owned, just Baltimore-owned. I try not to do the race thing and do any of the extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? Why not? And because we are all one.
We all racist.
No, we are all one. We are all one race. You know what I'm saying? Like that's as simple as that. I don't see colors. I see people. You know what I'm saying? I see understanding. That's it. I can't not or even look at you different because of your skin color. That's not me. That's not the way I was raised. Before my mom ever got sick, it was certain things that she installed in me that will always be there. I remember one Christmas, my family is all black. One Christmas, we really had a guy there. And my mom don't really do the Christmas thing like buying gifts. She don't buy gifts for her kids. You get it all year round. What we're going to do on Christmas is we're going to have to go to someone else's house, and we're going to buy it was hurting at the time. It really did hurt me. But we're going to buy all the toys that you like, you want. And I remember this one Power Ranger toy she just bought, and I had to really wrap it up and give it to someone else.
Wow.
And I think after I did it, I cried, and I thought about it for so many years, but I'm not upset about it no more. Because at the end of the day, I was able to give somebody else something that I honestly had. And honestly had a lot more of, because I'm sure my mother was able to she did more than just that toy. She did many of toys and many of Christmases, many of holidays. I've had Christmases with white people there. And this is white homeless people that you really would not bring in your house. Like you'll see on the corner, oh, that man's homeless. I'm not about to bring him in my house. No, I remember having a Christmas with a guy that had one hand,
wow.
And he was upstairs in our room, like playing a video game. And it's more or less understanding. Because if you treat someone well, treat someone good, that's all they can do to you is treat you the same way. You got to treat people the way that you want to be treated. If you want anything to flourish or even be good in your life, that's what you need to do. And you got to put light on those things that are already happening, those things that are already here. You have to put the light on it. Like programs like CFUF, I've heard it on the radio, this, that, and the third, and I don't even really like the radio. I like to really see what's going on, like really know, like, all right, well, this is what's happening in my community, and really be proud of it. Like not just, oh, everybody here is shooters and gangsters, and everybody want to be so rah. You know what I'm saying? I tell my friends all the time, yeah, I could be that. I could be everything with y'all. But it's a certain line of carrying yourself a certain type of way. And you have to want people to even look at you a certain type of way. So just at the end of the day, is just understanding is key. Every race treats you, even, what is it, religion. Every religion even treats you understanding. Everything, even, every religion, well, why I keep saying religion? Yeah, it is religion. Every religion teaches you understanding. Every religion also tells you to show love. It doesn't matter what you worship or who you worship. It teaches you love. It tells you to give love. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. And at the end of the day, that's the way I feel, and that's the way I'm carrying myself, so that my life can be a lot more better, just all around.
I agree with that. Just one of the things that we're doing. One of the things that we're doing for Restoring the Village is back to what you were saying. That oneness. If anyone's following Restoring the Village, that's all we talk about. One, like we're one. And the reason I said it is because you're stuck on like the religion part of it. We had the Nation of Islam said they're all in for restoring the village as far as partnership, support, whatever we need. And I'm not Muslim, But they see the love, they see the genuine.
That's all it takes.
They saw the genuine heart of myself and the others, and that's why they said they're in. And there's plenty of times where I said, hey, we're going to have the public safety forum or community cleanup, and those brothers were there. So it doesn't matter. Like, I don't get caught up in a denomination or even race, because there are some, or even your background. There are some people out in the street who is giving me more love than the person that's in the political seat, you know? So it's all about giving, like you said, that understanding. And it's whatever you give, they're going to give it back. We had a public safety forum where I met someone there, and it was more so their reaction could have been different, but they couldn't give off too much because they didn't get it from me.
Right.
So it was more like you give that nurturing, you give that love, that care, you're going to get that right back. So.
Yeah, Rob, and you are really touching on a lot of good things tonight, and just going into some of the things that are facing Baltimore City. I read something that, of course, we know drugs is an issue in Baltimore City, and according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, Baltimore has the highest per capita heroin addiction rate in the country. So of 645,000 people in Baltimore City, 60,000 are drug addicts. 60,000 drug addicts in Baltimore City, and of those 60,000, 48,000 are addicted to heroin. And I don't know what is making these kids want to take every drug that come out. I've never seen a generation since I've been born that has been so fiend out on drugs. They want to pop Molly's, these drugs that are being laced with synthetic opioids and all of this stuff. You see kids like strung out, like real life, like leaned over on the floor, out of their mind. So there is definitely a lot of this is attached to drug issues. They're on drugs. Their parents are on drugs. They're doing drugs with their friends. Some of them might be doing drugs with their parents, and it is so sad to see the state of what's going on. 60,000 people, drug addicts in Baltimore City. 60,000 people. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't even know how we tackle that. Like, these drugs are coming in and infiltrating our communities. Clearly, we're not bringing the drugs here. We're getting them from somewhere, and they are destroying our communities. We are killing our own selves. We out here selling drugs to the people in our community, to our neighbors, to the people that live down the street. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so many people dying from drug overdoses. You know, those are not as reported as the homicides, because of course they want to talk about murder. But it's a lot of people dying from drug overdoses every day. Every day. And when I was reading the statistics about the homicide, I strategically said reported. So they're only able to give us the number on the things that are reported, the people that have been reported killed, the people that they're getting the police reports on. So what are your thoughts on some of the things that we can do about this drug issue? Because I just can't even stop thinking about 60,000. Like, that's such a huge number. 60,000.
Well, one of the things that is a lot, but I won't take up. I could talk for days. But one of the things that I see is we know that 125 homicides have been reported, and that's only why I can say reported. I don't know if that's even the accurate number there. Out of those, just know how many families have been connected with that. So what I'm saying is that people want to be numb. They're hurting, and that's what they're using. Unfortunately, no one comes out and say, I want to pop Molly's. They might do weed, to start off. They might have a drink. Unfortunately, you got some people that are cruel that wants to lace their stuff, but you also have those who really just come in and say, I'm hurting. So one of my solutions to that, I will be starting a grief support group. And the other group that's out there is Roberta's House. I don't know any others, and if there are, please say it. But people are hurting and not getting their not getting any kind of grief support. It's just mainly like you lost your father, you lost your brother, you lost your sister. Okay, go back to school. And how do you, like you said, how can you concentrate when you know you lost someone dear to you? You just gotta go back to school and just concentrate? No, I want to be numb. I want to feel better, and that's what I believe. One of the things is that mental illness. I've seen different people that either committed suicide or attempted. Like, people are literally hurting, and that's one of the things that they're doing is the drugs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We want you guys to call in 444-361-1277. You see we have our little assistant, Miss Wow, in the building. She's over here helping out, doing whatever she's doing. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by the upcoming reality show Chase the Dream Baltimore. See a group of fresh, talented artists making it big in the city and beyond. With personalities as strong as their rhymes, watch them navigate life, love, and the entertainment business. Who will rise to the top on their journey to Chase the Dream? Visit facebook.com/chase the dream now for more information. We'll be back after this commercial break.